What's up everyone, John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here, and I want to give you a recap of Apple's just concluded Worldwide Developer Conference keynote where they unsurprisingly announced the new iPhone, which is going to be called iPhone 4. So CEO and President of Apple, Steve Jobs, took the stage and ran through 8 key features of the new iPhone 4, so I'm going to go ahead and run through each one of those. If you see me look down, because I'm checking out some notes, the keynote just ended. So number 1 is the new design, and it is indeed the design that we saw leaked from Gizmodo and a few Vietnamese sites, but there are some things that we didn't know about it. So first, it's got glass on the front and glass on the back, and stainless steel in the middle to give it a lot of durability, which is kind of neat. It is actually now 24% thinner than the iPhone 3GS, which actually makes it the thinnest smartphone ever. If you look at the iPhone 3GS, it was by no means a fat device, but certainly wasn't that thin. But 24% thinner than this is actually very, very impressive. When we first saw the leaks of the new iPhone 4, there were some seams along the side, and really was some confusion about what those seams were going to be. Some thought it was maybe for a removable back, which is not. As it turns out, those seams are part of the design and how they got the thinness down. That's actually part of the antenna. They now have the antenna running all the way around the full diameter of the phone to give, I guess, better reception and bring the antenna out from the inside of the phone, which is right behind here, to the outside. So that was one of the features that we didn't know about. Kind of neat. 24% thinner, again, is something that is really going to have to see to believe it had the round buttons and a few other features that we're going to talk about. So the second really big key feature is something called Retina display, which essentially gives you 4 times the pixel density of the iPhone 3GS, which is incredibly impressive. There are now 326 pixels per inch, and I believe the Retina can only see 300 pixels per inch. So really, what this means is when you read text or watch video or look at pictures, they're going to look amazingly sharp. If you're reading text, for example, and you zoom all the way in, sometimes you'll see look jagged around the edge. That is not going to happen anymore. You're going to get crystal sharp pictures. It's a resolution now of 940 by 640, which is actually double the resolution of the current iPhone 3GS, which is 480 by 320, which is pretty cool. It does have a 800:1 context ratio, which is 4 times better than the iPhone 3GS. So you're seeing a lot of improvements here. There were incremental updates from the iPhone 3G to the 3GS. Now we're seeing huge improvements from the 3GS to iPhone 4. It has the same 3.5-inch display. But because of the extra pixels you have on there, you now are going to get 78% of the pixels that you get on the iPad, which is crazy impressive on such a small screen. So the next thing you talked about, number 3 for keeping track at home, it's going to be running the A4 system on a chip, which we saw powering the iPad, so extremely powerful. It's clocked at 1 gigahertz, but the clock speed isn't necessarily as important as how things all work together, and because Apple makes all the hardware and coincides that with the software they make, you're going to get very optimal speeds. This thing is going to be an absolute screamer. I do expect it to be much faster than current Snapdragon phones that we see out there, but only time will tell. The next thing that I want to talk about, number 4, again, if you're keeping track, with all this new fancy hardware, how is the battery going to be? And let's talk about battery. It's actually been improved, surprisingly. You're going to get 6 hours of 3G browsing time on your phone. You're going to get 10 hours of browsing over Wi-Fi. You're going to get 10 hours of video watching, so if you watch video on a long flight, you're going to be able to get through the whole flight, most probably. You're going to get 40 hours of music and 300 hours of standby time. So you're getting improved numbers all around. The phone now will support HSUPA. HSDPA is traditionally what's being called 3G. It's the faster end of the 3G. It's now going to support 7.8 megabits per second down and 5.8 megabits per second up. While that's certainly not a 4G speeds, it's very, very fast and much faster than current 3G speeds, and that's going to be where available. Some of AT&T's networks won't support that quite yet, but the phone will be capable whenever that gets turned on in your area. One of the cool things it does have now is dual mics for noise canceling. So it's got a mic at the top and a mic at the bottom of the phone. So when you're talking, it'll sort of pull out where the noise is and reduce it. So if you drive a convertible or a loud car, you're going to get much, much, much less noise in the background, which is quite nice. Storage size, we'll talk about in a minute, but it's going to go up to 32 gigabytes. And actually, one of the really cool things that sort of, I think, went unnoticed with this keynote is the iPhone 4 is going to have a gyroscope built in. So the iPhone, every iPhone that's come out, the first one, the 3G and the 3GS, had an accelerometer. So when you turned the phone, it recognized it. But if you went back and forth, it really didn't do anything. What this is going to do now is recognize all the three-dimensional axes. So if you move the phone forward, it's going to recognize it, or back, it's going to recognize it, or side. It's going to recognize where your phone is at all times, which is going to be great for games. You're not limited now to just going left and right and turning or tilt. You're not going to be able to actually move your phone without actually giving it that tilt or turn, and the phone is going to recognize that, which is kind of cool. I'm really excited to see what the developers do as far as implementation. So the next thing, in number 5, we're going to talk about the new camera system, which is actually pretty neat. It's got a 5 megapixel camera on the back, which is being upped from 3 megapixels, but it's got something new, which is evidently called backside illuminated sensor, which is going to make for evidently much better picture quality. You're going to get a 5 times optical zoom with the tap to focus. This new iPhone 4 has an LED flash on the back, which you can illuminate to get better pictures in low light. And very coolly, it now records HD video on the video side at 720p at 30 frames per second, which is pretty good for a mobile device. And when you're doing video, you're still going to get the tap to focus, and you're still going to be able to access that LED flash. If you want to film video in low light, you are good to go. So the next thing, and this is sort of a really cool feature that they announced, is iMovie for the iPhone. With the camera that can do that much, obviously you want to be able to manipulate your content on the creation device. So now you're going to be able to really grab and move any video that you want. You get a timeline on the bottom of the phone, which you guys can see once it's available. We'll talk about it in another minute. You can add photos and get some of the effects that you're used to on iMovie. And you're going to have access to 5 different themes, which is pretty cool. And you can choose to export any resolution. It's going to run $4.99 when it gets launched. So number 6, and the 6th new feature Steve Jobs wanted to talk about was iPhone OS 4.0, which is now just being dubbed iOS 4, because it's not just used on the iPhone anymore. It's used on the iPod Touch and the iPad. So iOS 4.0 talked about some of the features we already knew. So multitasking, and he said if you do it right, you don't have to kill the battery. You're going to talk about the folders and Exchange support, and enterprise support, and single inbox, all the stuff we've covered before about iPhone OS 4.0, which will be in developers' hands, the Gold Master, starting today, which is pretty neat. Also, you're going to be getting Bing now on the iPhone OS 4.0, or iOS 4. They're not getting rid of Google, you just have Bing as an option. So number 7 is iBooks. iBooks is being updated and being put on the iPhone and iOS 4.0. You're going to get the same bookshelf you get on the iPad. If you download a book on your iPhone, it'll automatically, or you can download it again rather, on the iPad for free, so you only have to pay for a book once. Automatically sync, it'll automatically pull in bookmarks and everything else that you have, so you always are up to date with where you were on your content. Also, now you're going to have PDF support built inside of iBooks, so you can read and check out PDFs if you'd like. And you sort of get that one download thing. It's going to be free of cost to download another book that you already paid for. Number 8, and the last thing that we're going to be talking about, was iAds. He talked about this a few months back with the iPhone OS 4.0, or again, now called the iOS 4 announcement. It's going to be launching July 1st on all iPhone OS 4.0 devices. Steve expects it to really account for 48% of all mobile advertising in the second half of 2010, which is pretty, I guess, lofty numbers. And as with a decent amount of Apple keynotes, oftentimes there is one more thing. And there is indeed one more thing, and there was one more thing with this keynote, and that is now a front-facing camera on the iPhone 4. And this is something I think the sexting crowd is really going to like. You now have full video chat on the iPhone 4, which is really cool, and it's actually called FaceTime, is this new video chat is going to be called. So, video calling, it's going to be Wi-Fi only in 2010, which sort of leads you to believe that eventually after 2010 it's not going to be Wi-Fi only. So over 3G, and now the new HSUPA network, which is going to be rolled out, and hopefully eventually over 4G as well. So let's talk about prices, because everybody wants to know. The 16 gigabyte version is going to run you $199. 32 gigabytes is going to set you back $299. And Apple's still going to be selling the 3GS and 8 gigabyte version for $99. And it's going to be available June 24th in the US, France, Germany, UK, and Japan. It's going to come in 2 colors, white and black, but not like we've seen before. So this is the white version, but the front all looks the same. On the new iPhone 4, the whole front is going to be white. Kind of neat. And it's going to again launching in US, France, Germany, UK, and Japan on the 24th. Pre-orders are going to start a week from tomorrow, which is going to be June 15th. And AT&T, I think, did a really nice PR move. They actually bumped up upgrade eligibility 6 months. So if you were 6 months away from your upgrade, check your account because odds are you're now going to be able to upgrade to the new iPhone 4. So those are the big iPhone announcements, which was really cool. And I actually talked about a few other things too. I'll sort of recap for you quickly. I talked about iBooks for the iPad. I'll be able to do PDFs. There's going to be a new notes and bookmarking applications going to be built in. Also, some new applications that are going to be coming. Netflix for the iPhone will work over 3G or Wi-Fi as well, and you can sync back and forth between your iPhone and iPad. So if you're watching a movie on the iPhone, you get home, you want to watch on the iPad, it'll pick up right where you left off. You're also going to get now a new Farmville application, so everybody can keep track of your sad calf or bull, whatever that might be, and it'll sync back to a Facebook application, which is kind of neat, I guess. And a new Guitar Hero application with the new strumming mechanism will be available actually starting today for the iPhone. So what do you guys think about the new iPhone 4? Do you like it? Are you impressed? Are you excited? Personally, I think Apple had lost a lot of the bragging rights that they had with the first generation of the iPhone. Android really caught up, WebOS really caught up, but now having all these new features, and especially in a phone that's 24% thinner than the iPhone 3GS, strikes me as very impressive with a front-facing camera, 5-megapixel camera on the back, with this super high-resolution screen. I think the iPhone is really well positioned now for the next generation of wireless devices. What do you guys think? I'm really curious to hear your recap and hear your thoughts. Anyway, I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. For all your tech news, be sure to check out technobuffalo.com. We can interact with users in our built-in social network or create your own sublog off the main domain, so technobuffalo.com/whatever you want. You can put in your own AdSense code and make some money. Anyway, John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.